What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. My name is Rob, and man, it is time to get hyped for E3 again. You've probably noticed I've been making a bunch of E3 videos, a couple E3 videos on the channel lately, because here we are. It is the beginning of May 3rd today, I believe, which means E3 is officially next month. It's 5-6 weeks away, maybe. It, of course, starts on June 15th. Monday, June 15th is the first day of conferences. The show floor starts on Tuesday, June 16th. And so, you know, I've been kind of trying to run through and do a couple videos for you guys and kind of share some lists, the games and announcements and things that I'm, you know, excited to hear about. What kind of surprises do we want to hear? All these good things. And so today I'm moving forward with a new series that I'm going to be doing where I'm going to spend a day talking about all three of the console manufacturers, and what I want to see from them at the show: Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. What is it that I'm expecting, and what are the things that I want? Now, before I get started into my list and what I'm actually doing with this first video, I do need to give a quick amendment to this video because I'm doing something I've never had to do yet on Rule of Two Review. I am completely redoing this video off the cuff because I had already actually recorded this video and already discussed my thoughts that I'm going to be going over in this today. And the problem that I'm running into is my freaking computer that I do most of my video rendering and uploading from is basically dead or dying. It's taken a shit on me. I'm having major issues with it. It's super stressful. And I was really stressed because, you know, I have a second computer that I do a lot of my stuff with. But this is the main one that I've been using, and it's where my footage and my completed video was. And so what's been bothering me is that I haven't been able to get to that video, and I was trying to find a way to access it somehow and get it still uploaded, and I just don't think I can do it, at least not in any sort of relatively quick time frame. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to redo it. So I'm doing the best I can. It's really weird for me to be doing this, but I feel pretty good about it. This is a fun thing to talk about, so I'm going to do, like I said, the best that I can here. So just remember that. This is something I've already gone over, this list in front of me. I've already done this and recorded it, and I just have no way to get it up on YouTube. So here I am doing it again. Okay, so what we're doing, like I said, we're going to be doing 3 videos, one for Nintendo, one for Sony, one for Microsoft. I'm, of course, starting with Nintendo, because Nintendo is always the most exciting when it comes to E3. They're always the most controversial. They're always the things that gets people the most excited. When they don't do things well, they're the ones that feel the most disappointing. There's something about Nintendo and their presence and just the magic that is that company that really makes a big impact when it comes to E3. And they're also my favorite company. The Wii U right now is my favorite gaming platform, and as I've said before, I expect it to remain so throughout the 8th generation. So, of course, obviously I was going to start with Nintendo, so let's go ahead and get to the goods. So I have a list. It's 10 things in front of me here, and they're not in any order. I didn't put them in order of relevance or importance. I did them based on just basically how they came into my head as I was putting this list together of the things that I am expecting to see and that I want to see from Nintendo at E3 this year. The first thing that does jump to mind when it comes to Nintendo at E3 that you think about is, what are they going to do this year, and how will they be present at the show? Will they do another digital event like they've done the last 2 years? Will they come back to a live press conference format like they've traditionally done and like the competition has still been doing? Or will they do some sort of weird amalgamation of the two? Who really knows? You know, it's when I try to think about what I really want them to do, that's really hard to answer because I don't really know. I mean, I love it when they do a live press conference, of course. I mean, if they announced that they were going to be doing a live press conference, which, by the way, it's weird that only a month out they still haven't told us what they're doing. So that's kind of strange. It makes me think that they're going to do the same thing, another digital event. But if they did come out and they announced that, yes, we're going to be doing a live press conference again, I'd be like, okay, like, that means they get to come to the stage, they get to announce all these things, and, you know, in front of a huge group of audience of people within the industry and gamers and fans and all these things, and people to make excited. So when they do and say great things, there's a room full of people that are standing up and cheering and doing all these things, which makes us get excited and want to jump off of our seats at our homes and get really excited. And so that's a great level of enthusiasm that you don't get from the digital event. So I would, of course, be excited if they did that. However, if they said that they were going to do another streaming thing or the digital event or something, you know, akin to that, I would also be thrilled because last year they did so great, and I feel like they would do just as well again this year because I know that they're going to be showing us a lot of great things. So there's no right or wrong there. I'd love to hear what you guys think, what you would prefer, but like I said, for me, I don't really care, but I do want to know, so hopefully they come out and tell us what that's going to be soon. So moving on, so what are the things that I want to see or I'm expecting to see at the show from Nintendo this year? Like I said, in no particular order, I really want to hear from Retro Studios and their new game, which we know that they've been working on for a while. Reggie's hinted at it and teased it and talked about it before. And I feel like the time is now for them to kind of show us what it is they're doing. We, of course, remember when they were working on Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and that was a game that, you know, we all were excited to find out what Retro was going to be working on, and we found out it was Donkey Kong, and it's like, well, I mean, okay, that's cool, and it's going to be good, but it's not what anyone wanted, you know. It's probably not even what the team wanted to be doing. However, we do know that Retro Studios is a two-team studio, which means that at the time that they were working on Donkey Kong and finishing that game up, their other team, hopefully, was working on whatever their next project is going to be. A lot of people theorize or would like for them to come back to Metroid, you know, and that would be amazing. I would love that. You know, they've created my favorite game ever in the original Metroid Prime. So I would love it if they came back to Metroid, if they did Metroid Prime 4, or if they did just another new Metroid game that has no relation to the Prime stuff. I mean, that would all be really cool. I would also love to see them either, A, take on a different old property. You know, people talk about, like, I don't know, Kid Icarus or F-Zero, things like that. You know, that'd be great. Or I would love to see them do a brand new game. I think a new IP is something that we can use more and more of in all of gaming, and Nintendo's bringing it this year with Splatoon, which is great, but why not have something else? Why not have one of your premier flagship internal studios bring something else brand new to us? I think that'd be fantastic. So I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens there. Whoops. Oh, I've just unlocked 200cc. How funny is that? So I've got my gamepad here in front of me. That was really funny how that happened. Anywho, but yeah, so I would love to hear from Retro, basically. It's a studio that's important to Nintendo. We all want to know what they're doing, so let's see what's happening there. This next one is a really big one. This is one that I could probably make an entire video about, but I'm going to give you the short form version of it today. I think that we should have no talk of the NX at E3 this year. Now, that may be controversial to some people. I don't want them to spend any time discussing, I don't even want them to say the name or even bring up the concept of a new system. Don't talk about the NX. Don't talk about the new next gen of Nintendo consoles and home hardware. Don't do that at E3. This is not the time to do it. Not this year. We are only 2.5 years into the Wii U's life cycle. That's really not that long a time. I think that the system should have another 2.5 or 3 to go still. And right now, Nintendo needs to keep the faith in the Wii U. Yes, it's doing better and better, and it is turning a profit, which, by the way, is most important, way more important than just the hard numbers. But obviously, it's not doing as well as it needs to, despite having far and away the best library available, and also the most unique controller. So they need to say, this is it. This is Nintendo's future for right now. This is what we're doing. This is what matters. This is what's relevant and important. It's the Wii U. Look at all these great things. Here's a bunch of cool shit for it. Go buy it, because this is who Nintendo is. This is what we do, and what we're providing to you. You're welcome. And if they bring up the NX or talk about it, it's just reminding people that, well, the Wii U might be cool, and I was thinking about getting one, but now that they're talking about the NX thing in a couple years, maybe I should just wait for that, you know? And no, we don't want that. People should be dedicated to the Wii U right now. It's an amazing platform, and talking about the NX at a huge public forum like E3, where all eyes will be on them when their presentation is happening, I think it would be very damaging to Nintendo and to the Wii U specifically to discuss the NX. Now, they've said myriad times that, especially after they announced the Zelda delay, that E3 this year, they're spending time focusing only on 2015 games that are coming out this year and this year alone. And since we know the NX, yes, it's a piece of hardware, but we know that's not this year, so hopefully they'll stay true to form and have no reason to bring that up as well. I don't think they'll talk about it, but I also could maybe see them talking about it, so I'm just going to cross my fingers that they don't, and you kind of understand the reasons why. Now, obviously, release dates. Man, we need some release dates big time, because there's a bunch of games that we know to be excited about for the Wii U this year, and this is not even including any surprise games they may talk about at the show, and we need dates for these games. We need dates for Xenoblade Chronicles X. We need dates for Star Wars. We need dates for Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which I don't know if they've confirmed if it's a 2015 or 2016 release for that one, by the way. I do know, I mean, the Fire Emblem game coming out for the 3DS is a 2016 game. That one is next year. But I don't know about Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. I mean, we know that the game, since it's almost basically confirmed to be showing up at the show, to me that should mean that it's a 2015 game because of the statement I just mentioned where they said they're only focusing on games for this year. So I guess that remains to be seen, but I would love to know when it's coming out regardless. Devil's Third, Yoshi's Woolly World, Fatal Frame, Mario Maker's a game we haven't heard from in a while. These are all that. I mean, that was just like 8 games I just named, or 9 games or something. These are games that, if they're this year, it's time at E3 to let us know when they are coming. We need to know when to expect these games because we all want to flipping by them, and E3 is a great place to do that. I doubt we'll see dates for all of those, but I think we'll see dates for a few of those. Xenoblade, I would think we'd have to see dates for. I mean, Nintendo, you just had a 10-minute Nintendo Direct on Xenoblade, which was great, but you didn't even talk about the goddamn release date, so when are we getting this game? It's like the game that I think will be my game of the year right now, so just give us this game. Also, speaking of Star Fox, obviously, we need some Star Fox gameplay, some Star Fox footage. We need to have the veil pulled back on Star Fox, and obviously E3 is the time to do it. There is no doubt. This has 100% certainty of happening. They're going to show the game. They're going to have a trailer. They're going to have gameplay. They're going to live stream it at the Treehouse, and they're going to give us a release date. I think this game is guaranteed a release date because as of right now, it seems to be their flagship first-party holiday release. That's what's carrying Nintendo this year, so we need to finally see that. We need, really good details on the game. What kind of epic story mode are we going to get? Is it going to be all R-Wing combat? Well, they said it's R-Wing and it's also ground vehicles, maybe like the Landmaster and stuff again. I don't expect any on-foot missions, but if there are going to be some, this would be the time to show us those. Is what kind of online modes and multiplayer modes are we going to get? Just what does it look like? We want to see how beautiful it's going to be. How is the gamepad really going to work for that game? Because we know that it's a huge focus for Nintendo and Miyamoto on this game. So I definitely want to see more Star Fox info, and that's something that we are for sure going to get, so you can be excited about that. Speaking of the gamepad stuff in Star Fox, I would also like to see more on the gamepad support overall going forward. In the last year, Nintendo, Iwata, Miyamoto have talked a few times about how they want to reinvigorate their focus on the gamepad and re-show the market and the gamer why the gamepad is important to Nintendo and why it's important to the Wii U. Obviously, E3, great opportunity to do that as well, because a lot of other games like Mario Maker, whatever they're doing with the Project Guard and Project Robot, tech demos, I want to see what games those are going to end up in or what games those turn into. We want to see what other games that you might surprise us with that are going to showcase the gamepad. I love the gamepad. I think it's so great. Games like Zombie U and Wonderful 101, they're so amazing with that gamepad, and it makes those games better. Pikmin 3, oh my gosh. There's a lot of great things you can do with the gamepad. And I know it's going to be great for Star Fox. That's huge, taking their flagship title and making it so gamepad heavy. But show us what else you're doing to prove to the world why the gamepad matters. Also, some surprises. This one seems like a no-brainer, but E3 is always best when companies are surprising us and saying, I bet you didn't know to expect this freaking game right here, and then everyone goes, oh my god, and jumps out of their freaking couch. Like, that's what we want. Nintendo has been the best at that in the past. The digital event presentation doesn't necessarily lend itself to that kind of oh my god moment, but it doesn't mean that they can't still surprise us. So hopefully there's a couple great games for this year that are not just like indie games or downloadable games. I mean real, quantifiable, solid, big titles that we would have no idea to expect. Show us these games. And speaking of surprise games for this year that would be amazing, Metroid. You've heard me talk about it a million times because it is my jam, my favorite series. I love me some Samus. And it is time for Metroid, Nintendo, E3 this year. There's been a lot of rumors about Nintendo working on Metroid. Miyamoto discussed Metroid at E3 last year a little bit. And we just know that they're doing something, and this has to be the year that they discuss it and show it to us. Whether it's a Wii U game or a 3DS game or both. Now, I do have to say, I don't think that we will get just a 3DS game. There is no doubt in my mind that, yes, Nintendo's working on Metroid, And I do think that if and when they show it to us, which will probably be this year, but maybe not, you know, if and when they show us Metroid, I think you can bet your bottom dollar that we will definitely be seeing a Wii U version. We might see a Wii U and a 3DS version. I simply don't see a world where they would only announce a 3DS game. Now, bear in mind, if we got a 3DS only game, I would still be very excited, because it would more than likely be a really kick-ass, beautiful 2D Metroid. And although Prime is my favorite, Metroid is at its best when it's 2D, so I would love it if they did do like a 2D, great-looking Metroid game for the 3DS. But Nintendo also knows that Metroid right now needs its home to be on the Wii U. The Wii U needs Metroid. Nintendo needs Metroid to be on the Wii U, and gamers who haven't won a Wii U need Metroid to be on the Wii U. So all of those things, to me, kind of, you know, funnel themselves into the very obvious fact that Metroid will be appearing on the Wii U. That is where you will see Samus next, no doubt. Maybe the Wii U and 3DS, but definitely the Wii U. That will happen whenever they show us Metroid, so you can count on that. So, stepping away from a couple other things, kind of getting through this list fast this time, which is not way faster than the last time, trust me. So, we need some more info on third-party games. I'm hoping to see some third-party announcements or discussions happening at E3 this year from Nintendo. What that means to me is third-party multi-platform games and some third-party exclusives. Nintendo has been knocking third-party exclusives out of the park for the most part lately, with Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, Wonderful 101, Sonic Lost World, which I really liked. Sonic Boom is a different story, you know. But Nintendo does really great with that stuff, working with third parties on exclusive content. Devil's Third is a big one. Fatal Frame 5 is a big one. You know, they do great with that stuff, so I would like to see more talk about those kinds of games. Also, some multi-platform games. It would be nice to finally get confirmation that some things are coming back to the Wii U. Call of Duty. We know that Advanced Warfare skipped the Wii U, but Treyarch's Black Ops 3... Black Ops has a history on Nintendo's platforms. Both Black Ops and Black Ops 2 came to Nintendo. And there's been rumors about some of the things people have seen online with Black Ops 3 relating to the Wii U. So it would be a great time to bring Call of Duty back to the Nintendo audience. People want it. There is absolutely a market on Nintendo's platforms for these games. Battlefront 3 would be amazing. I would love to see Battlefront come. If not Battlefront, maybe even just another Star Wars game that's meant to come out on other platforms as well. An exclusive Star Wars game would be amazing too. I think that'd be really cool. What was the other one? Mass Effect 4 could be great. I mean, we've seen Mass Effect 3 on the Wii U, so maybe EA starts pulling its head out of its ass with Battlefront and with Mass Effect, and maybe releases Mass Effect 4 on the Wii U. So it'd be great to see. Those would be really huge surprises because no one would expect it. But last year, they spent zero time on third-party stuff, and it would be really great to get some more third-party stuff coming back this year. So we'll see how that goes. Here's another one that myself and my main man, Mr. T, have talked about a couple times. Sports games. Nintendo needs sports games to come back to their platforms big time because that is another huge market. Now, I love sports, but I don't love sports video games. However, that doesn't mean that there isn't a gigantic, gargantuan market for sports games. So it would behoove Nintendo to include sports games in its lineup again, whether it's going to be the Maddens and the FIFAs, which sell like crazy sports simulations, or if it's like what Nintendo used to do where they had their own sports games that, again, Mr. T reminded me of once. You know, that is stuff that I think really deserves to be on the Wii U, and the Wii U audience who wants those games deserves to have them available, even though I would probably never play them, you know. And the gamepad, I think, would be great for sports games. I mean, there's a lot of strategy involved, and I think that you can do some amazing things with the touchscreen and the gamepad for the way actual sports are just played and the way that they happen. So there's some cool things to happen there. And in that respect, I guess I'll get to the very last thing. There was some other sports stuff I wanted to go into that I was thinking about. You know, like some things that could work on Nintendo's platform, I guess I'll go into this stuff on the sports, would be the kind of sports games that I do typically like, which would be like a Mario Kart or NBA Jam, NFL Blitz. Love me some NFL Blitz. God, I lost so many hours to that series back in the day on the 64. You know, those are the kinds of games that would be really great. You know, I'm not so much... I guess I should clarify, because yes, I brought up Mario Kart. When I talk about, like, Nintendo's own sports games and stuff, I'm not talking about, like, Mario Tennis and Mario Basketball and Mario Volleyball and all these things. I mean, Mario Strikers is good, you know, actually really good, but not even that. Like, we don't want that. I do think that sports simulation games or arcadey sports games would be best on the Wii U. And that's what I think people would really want who are dying to have sports games on the system. So it would be nice if at E3 Nintendo basically brought that stuff back into the fold. So anyway, that does wrap up my thoughts on the sports stuff. So the last thing I want to talk about is something that a lot of people were talking about many months ago. This was a huge hot button topic. I've been on a couple podcasts discussing it as well. A lot to think about here. This mysterious port from Tantalus. Tantalus is a development studio, a third-party development studio. They've worked porting some pretty high-profile, really great, excellent games to the Wii U. They worked on the port for Deus Ex, the director's cut for the Wii U. They also ported Mass Effect 3 to the Wii U. So they work on really excellent games. They came out recently and talked about how we're working on this huge port that's going to be for the Wii U. It's a very high-profile game. It's a AAA game. It's a hardcore title, which people, I've learned, have very different definitions of what a hardcore title is for some reason. To me, a hardcore title is a really good game that you and I would play. Something like Dark Souls and Bloodborne. To me, those are hardcore games. Xenoblade is a hardcore title. Fire Emblem is a hardcore title. Fatal Frame. To me, those are hardcore games. Now, some people think it's different things like bro games, like Madden and Call of Duty, and I've never looked at it that way. I don't really know how Tantalus is using the term. I think they're using it in the way that I'm thinking, which is the good way. So that's kind of what I'm hoping there. They said it's that, and they've also said it's not rated mature. So we know it's probably going to be a T for teen game. There's a couple theories that people have thrown out. Destiny is a really good theory. Battlefront is a really good theory. I discussed that a minute ago. I think that those are huge possibilities, you know, and we may yet see those games come. So I really want to find out what Tantalus has been working on, you know. We should be prepared, and you should prepare yourself for the very real possibility that it's lame, that it's a terrible, stupid port, that it's The Sims, or some weird touchscreen, stupid cooking game, or some Kim Kardashian game. Just like the last thing that any of us would ever want to play. We need to prepare ourselves for it being that. But we can also hope that it's actually something great and wonderful that we'd all be excited about, and with any luck, we'll hear about it at E3 this year, you know, and I think that this would be a great time to finally reveal this frickin' game. What is it that they've been working on? Show us, Nintendo. Oh, well, I'm pretty sure my list was over, but I might as well make sure that I have it back available. Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing, so. So I guess with that, you know, that's the end of my list. Those are my thoughts and ideas. That's what I want to see from Nintendo at E3. I have no reason to think my Sony or Microsoft video will be this long because there's not as much to talk about for those companies, but I'm excited to do those as well. What do you guys think about what I've discussed today? Do you like and agree with my list and the things that I've talked about that I want to see from Nintendo? Like I said, some of these things are almost for sure going to happen. We're going to see Star Fox. We're going to get some release dates. Probably not for everything that I mentioned, but we'll get some. We're definitely going to get surprises, stuff like that. Will we get the Tantalus port and third-party games? Maybe. You know, we'll have to see. But these are the things that I want and that I think we will probably see from Nintendo this year at E3, and so I think it's really just time to be excited about all this stuff, you know, so, you know, thanks for tuning in. Of course, if you're new to the channel, like I always say, please feel free to subscribe to Rule 2 Review. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts about E3 and Nintendo at E3 and all these good things below. It's a really exciting time. Like I said, in the next couple days, keep an eye out for the other E3 videos I'm going to do, where I will discuss what I want from Sony and what I want from Microsoft, because I am a fan of all those companies, all the manufacturers, all the consoles. You've heard me say it before, so it's going to be fun to talk about everybody as well. But that's it. I'm going to wrap this up for today, so thanks for tuning in, of course, and I will catch you guys next time on another E3 video for Rule of 2 Review.